I have made some biggest updates to Monsha, and we are calling it Monsha version 2. So as you know, Monsha is an AI tool that teachers around the world use for curriculum and lesson planning, resource creation, differentiation. That didn't change. But what changed is how you can create those resources, what else you can create, how you can interact with those resources, and what you can do with it. Let's see one by one. So before this update, if you had to create a resource, let's say smart worksheet on Monsha, you had to go through all those steps, all those drop downs, all those next and steps and everything before you could actually hit the generate button here. And that was very unnecessary and painful to a lot of our users. And this is the new interface for creating that same worksheet. This is just one screen, one step. All the options are still there, but you don't have to necessarily submit all the inputs to actually hit generate. For example, you can just describe your requirement or topic. Let's say mitosis cell division. You define how many activities do you want in the worksheet. You just select the grade level and generate button is already active. You still have all the other options, like you can upload your videos, files, websites, text, or any other Monsha resource to use as a reference for the worksheet. You can define your difficulty levels, attach it to any lesson, units or course. You can assign curriculum standards, and you can also adapt to any doc level or reading level or Bloom's taxonomy. And same goes for every other resource on Monsha. This is the default interface. And from now on, you will also see a small history icon here. It says prompt history. And if you click on it, you will see all the previously used prompt for this particular field for you. So if you just click on it, you will paste the prompt without having to type in. And this is applicable for all the fields where you have to manually type in or paste it. For example, even the websites or videos. So if you click on this icon, you will see the URLs or websites you had previously used. This was one of the most requested features in Monsha. We have also made some big improvements on how you can use complex content within your output, like charts, graphs, images, equations, PPT slides. So before that, we had different tools to create those types of content, but now, regardless of the tool, regardless of the resource, you can use everything. For example, this is a reading passage on second order chemical reactions created by our reading passage generator. You can see you have this passage, you have all those equations needed, and you have these images from the internet, in this case the graphs, also some external resources or links you can use with this passage, everything together. And next big update is we have made it possible to interact or communicate with the resource you generate and create follow-on resources or made improvements. For example, I have asked it to create a graph comparing first order and second order reactions, and it has created a new graph for me that is not from the internet, that is actually real graph, and you can see, you can interact with it, and it is mathematically accurate. It has also given me some images from the internet that is relevant to the graph. Then I asked it to create a presentation slide based on the passage, 5 slides including images. So it had created the presentation for me. I can change the theme here to any Monsha theme. And then I asked it to create 10 MCQs. And here are the MCQs, but the formatting is not quite right. So I asked it to format the questions properly with line breaks, and it did. So this is a quiz, and you can actually show the answer keys here. You can also hide them. And for all the blocks you have generated on this resource, you can do some block level operations. For example, you can copy, it will copy the whole content within this block. You can edit the block and make any changes to it. You can differentiate it based on any grade level, language, doc level. You can adjust the reading level or adapt to any different Bloom's taxonomy. You can also export it to, let's say, PDF or doc or as a Google slide or to your Google Classroom class. Now, if you want to go further and interact more with it, you can actually type in your feedback and hit enter to regenerate the resource or create more resources or more blocks. And instead of manually typing, you can also use this quick actions button here to write your prompt based on AI. For example, if you want to change the difficulty and simplify it, just click it and AI will generate the prompt for you. You can tweak something and click enter to regenerate. Another update is we have added a C prompt button at the top of any resource you create on Monsha. So if you click on it, you will see all the initial prompt and input and configuration you used to create the original version of the resource. If you want to make any changes to your prompt, if you want to add more videos, or if you want to change anything, you can just change it and click on regenerate, and it will recreate the resource for you based on those input. You have another button here that says reuse prompt. So if you click here, it will duplicate the configuration and take you to another interface to create another reading passage or another resource. So this is helpful if you like that initial prompt and you want to utilize it to create even more resources. Maybe you have all those setups ready. You just want to change the video or add a file and create even more resources. So we have added a completely new tool that is called Create Anything. So we had different tools to create different kinds of resources, but what if you want to create something else? So for all those resources or all those needs that are not covered in those other individual tools, you can create the Create Anything tool. So if you click on it, you will see a simple interface where you can type in your prompt. The grade level and language are already populated based on your last usage, and you can just hit generate. You can be actually very ambitious about it. You can try different things. Don't bother what you can do or can't do. So for example, maybe I want to upload an essay. So this is an essay submitted by a student, handwritten essay. I've just taken a picture, and then I want to create a feedback on it. So I can click on file, I can upload the picture with handwritten essay, save, and then just type in your prompt. And I can click this button to open up the history. I can select from my any previously written prompt, for example this one, and it says generate a feedback on the student submitted essay, list the goods, bads, improvement scopes, and then incorporate the feedback and show a refined version of the original essay. So if you hit on click generate, you'll see something like this. So you have these good points, you have these areas of improvements, and then the original essay and the refined version of the essay based on the feedback. So we have named the tool Create Anything, maybe not anything literally, but let's see what you can create and where's the boundary. And finally, we have created a new tool called Supplementary Materials. So this is one of the most requested tools. Let's say you are planning a lesson and you want some materials that is relevant to that lesson that you can use as a reference for yourself, your students for their studies. So if you click on this, you can just type in your requirement, how many activities or materials you want, select the grade level and language, and then hit generate. And the output will be something like this. So you have all these practice problems, you have these YouTube videos, PPTs or presentation slides, and more worksheets and PDF files that are relevant for that lesson, and that is available free on the internet. Last but not the least, we have added 4 new LLM or AI models within Monsha. So instead of relying on one model for every task, we have added 4 models from reputed providers like OpenAI, Anthropic, Google or Flux. So you don't have to bother about the models or which has the most capacity or what is good for you. We are doing that, handling all the things in the back end, but we are just letting you know that you are getting the best response possible for every output.